Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is kind of the wrap up of my Fall for the Family series that I've been doing here on my channel. And it's going to be fall knits for him. So I've done one for little boys that was inspired by my son Charlie, one on little girls that was for my daughter Evelyn, fall knits for her, which was for me. And then today's video is pretty much inspired by my husband Joe. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm making any broad statements or anything. All of these pieces are inspired by a specific person in my family, and I just really like the patterns, so I wanted to share them with you as well. And before I get into the actual patterns, I do want to mention that I think all of these are Brooklyn tweed patterns, but they're by pretty much all different designers. So I think I have 2 by 1 designer, and that is it. So I've got a little bit of variety, but Brooklyn tweed does do a very good job with menswear. And the other thing that I really like about Brooklyn tweed patterns is that they are very technical. So they can be easier, but then they have some more complicated techniques used as well as an optional sort of thing. So I really like all of that, and they're very clear, very thorough. I really like the Brooklyn tweed patterns. So if you haven't tried any of them, I would recommend them. Some of my favorites are like Julie Hoover, Jared Flood, Michelle Wang is a good one, and I think I talk about all of those guys. So let's just hop into the patterns. The first pattern is Redford by Julie Hoover, and I love this one because at first glance, this doesn't look like anything super special. It looks fairly simple. It's mostly worked out of stockinette, but there are a lot of details in this that really make it something special. So it has a crew neck, but then it also has a little triangle of reverse stockinette. So it's kind of got 2 necklines going at once that I think is a really cool element. It has exposed seams in a lot of different areas. And the other thing that I really think is cool about this that you wouldn't see right away is that this has a piecewise construction, and while most pieces or piecewise sweaters have a front, a back, and 2 sleeves, this one actually has 6 pieces, so there are some side panels as well. And those side panels are worked in kind of a wedge triangle sort of shape, and they're worked in reverse stockinette with the exposed seams as well. So it's a really cool look, and it's still fairly understated. It's just a really classic, cool piece that has just a lot of really nice details to it as well, and I love it. It's really fun to work up, fairly simple, but then it also has some of those more complicated techniques used as well. I think that this is the pattern that I learned how to do those sloping cast-off edges. I think that that's a really fun technique and really cleans things up. So yeah, love this, love the techniques in it, and I would like to do it again, but I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a menswear sweater to make. This next pattern features the same model, which makes me think that Brooklyn Tweed really likes this guy, and to be quite honest, they're not wrong. He is pretty good looking. But this is Slade by Michelle Wang, and I love this cardigan. I don't think that I have actually completed a cardigan for my husband, so this would be a nice one to do. It has a really wide shawl collar that has kind of a unique rib to it. I can't quite tell from the pictures if it's a K2 P2 or if there's more knit edges in it or not. I'm not quite sure, but the band itself is really pretty, and the rest of it is worked in stockinette. So it's a fairly simple cardigan that I think would be something that you could wear pretty much whenever you wanted, and it would pair with things very well. It isn't as open as it might look here. There are a couple of buttons that would close it up. However, I do think that it does look really nice just as an open cardigan. That is kind of how I like to wear cardigans myself though, so it might be a personal bias. It's just a really nice classic sweater, and I think it would fit into any wardrobe. The next pattern that I wanted to share with you is Hugo by Veronica Avery, and once again, same model. Like I said, I think they like this guy. This will be the last time that you see him in today's video, but there you go, there he is again. And this pattern is really pretty. It reminds me a lot of the Spenson pullover by Jared Flood that I did just a few months ago for Joe. except rather than having a honeycomb panel in the front, it has a really cool just kind of lattice sort of cable instead. So they're similar but not quite the same, and then it does have not quite a fishtail cable on the sides. It's a little bit more of a woven sort of texture, but it does have that moss stitch, which is really nice, really classic. I really like that. And the other thing that is very different from the Svensson pullover is that neckline. Isn't that cool? So it's almost a turtleneck, but then it has a couple of buttons so that you can wear it open a little bit, just off center. It's really cool. I really like that. And I hope that Joe likes it too, because this is one of the contenders for me to make this year. There are a lot of them that I want to do that I don't think I'll have time for, but this is one that is on my list that I really like. So we'll see what happens with that one. The next pattern I wanted to share with you is also by Veronica Avery, and it is Haskins. And I think that this one popped up on my radar last year when I was scrolling through Instagram, but it has a really cool texture to it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I actually went through the description to try and figure out what was going on this pullover, and it says that it's worked with twisted stitches and tiny cables. And from what I can tell, if those are tiny cables, they are like 1 by 1 little cables worked throughout the whole thing. So the front and back has the same design on it. I think it's a really cool classic sort of piece that has that unique twist once again. And the shape of it itself is just a basic pullover, very simple. The one thing that I did wonder about is the neckline. So it does have a crew neck neckline, but it looks like it might be a little bit wider, and the Svensson pullover had that as well. So that is something that I would probably pair with a collared shirt or something like that. But I don't know if that's the same case with this, if it maybe is just an illusion with what they have it paired with. I don't know, but it does look really nice. And if it is something that has a wider neckline, once again, those collared shirts look really, really nice underneath that kind of sweater. So that is Haskins, and I have one more that I wanted to share with you in today's video. The last pattern that I wanted to share with you is Denali by Nora Gone, and Nora Gone in my mind is the queen of cabling. I love her cable designs. She's the one that did the stag head pullover a while back, and if you haven't seen that, I'll link it below. You have to check it out. I saw a lot of knitters either doing that pullover or incorporating that cable design into a throw pillow. It's just amazing what she can do with cables, and this one is no exception. So the cables on there almost look abstract or like clouds. I don't know how she does this, but it just looks amazing. And there are 2 different kind of cable sizes there as well. So there's a panel of larger cables next to a smaller one, next to a larger one. It just has this really cool feeling of being fairly uniform and straightforward, but also having that whimsical sort of feel to it as well. And I'm just always really impressed with her cables. And my husband does like his cabled sweaters, so this would be a good contender for something to make for him. So I don't know, I really like it. Which one am I going to be working on this winter? I have no idea. Maybe let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your feedback, and we'll see which one ends up being made this winter. I don't think that I'm going to get anything going this fall, but you never know what'll happen. Anyway, I think that that is going to do it for today's video. So like I said, if any of these designs stood out to you as ones that you think I should make my husband this winter, please let me know down in the comment section, or if there's a pattern that you think should have been included in today's list, please let me know that as well. I always love finding out about new designers and patterns that might be out there that I just haven't stumbled across yet, and you guys are an awesome resource for that. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!